stock. So Colleen's here from Melbourne to talk to us about how to build a list of subscribers, attract and convert customers in the most cost-effective way. Now, Colleen's been here before, and she shared some really great stuff. So it's really good to have Colleen back again to share some of her wisdom. So for those of you that don't know Colleen, she is a sales and marketing professional. She's an entrepreneur like us as well too. And she works with business people and entrepreneurs, helping them to grow their businesses. And the goal there is, or her aim is to help them to get to and surpass at least $10,000 a month consistently in revenue. So she's dedicated to helping entrepreneurs and business-minded individuals to help with systemizing their business and focus on their clients, bringing in new business, and helping to create products and services that people really want and that attracts them. So I'd like to say welcome along, Colleen. And
hello, everybody. Now, I must say I've been doing a lot of talking lately, so I have a little frog going on. So I've got lots of water and tea and all sorts of things in the background here. So I'll be drinking a little bit throughout the presentation. But it's so nice to see all your faces. Some of you I've known before from other places. So it's lovely to see you all again. It's been a while, hasn't it? And it's just nice to connect like this. Look, guys, this is a really relaxed presentation. We're all obviously sitting in our homes, it's relatively late at night. So just, I guess what I would ask though is that I am known for giving far too much information, good information. So it might be best if you hold your questions till the end, and then we can go through anything that you want to know in addition to what I've already stated. So there's already been some things thrown out as a bit of a challenge for me to obviously go over for you. So I'm more than happy to do that. And welcome to you all, and congratulations for turning up, because that's the hardest part with a lot of these things. There's a lot of competing demands in everybody's lives, but well done to you all for turning up and dedicating some time to your business growth. Okay, so let's get into it, shall we? We've got heaps to cover. Right, so just have to move you all around a little bit on my screen. Okay, here we go. So essentially, there's a bar I need to move out of the way there too, so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. So basically, what we do, we've been operating for a very long time. My business started back in 2010. And I saw the need coming from a corporate sort of environment where I was doing a lot of high-end sales and marketing for very big blue chip companies, and I've done so many things throughout my life. So I've sort of done sales and marketing from the ground up. So I've done it from small businesses, I've done it for medium businesses, and I've done it for very large corporate businesses. So I've written tenders and that sort of thing for them. So I can tell you that I am, or I have certainly in the past and still am, walking the talk when it comes to this sort of work. So, you're hearing from somebody who's been there, done it. And certainly from an online perspective, I've been working at that since 2010 for myself and my clients. So I've come up with some really good strategies that actually really work, and I'm excited to share them with you. So, what services we offer done for you, I just thought I'd throw that in there, is copywriting, do a lot of event work. In fact, as Nick, I think I met you at an event that I was event managing. So yeah, now I'm doing online events too. So there's a lot going on in the event world. Obviously it's changed quite a bit with COVID, but certainly, that's something that we can offer. Obviously just tailored consulting and training as well. Anyway, let's move on, shall we? Whoopsie, is it going to let me? There we go. So what I'm going to say to you is what not to do, okay? Because you can waste a lot of time doing the wrong things. So I'm going to start there. I personally wasted a lot of time doing the wrong things. So I want to let you know that we all do it. We waste money, we waste time. And what I'm going to tell you is if you do it in the right order, you're going to get so much better results. Okay. So you're not the only one that's done it. If you bought a CRM that you're hardly using, that sort of thing, it's pretty normal. So many people do it. They're just not quite ready for, a particular type of software or something because they haven't done the basics that they need to do before they get into that stage. Okay. So what not to do, don't create your lead magnets or funnels straight away. Okay. So, and what I mean by that is Don't go buying all this funky funnel software and all of this sort of stuff. I'm just going to call it stuff or software or whatever you want to call it, or create these amazing lead magnets until we do something else. Okay. So there are far more important steps to do first. Okay. So do not run ads straight off the bat. All right. Now, this is probably contrary to what a lot of other people are telling you right now, but just don't do that initially. You can waste so much time and money. And trust me, I've done it. So yeah, if you're ready to scale, then ads are for you. But if you haven't quite done all these other steps that I'm going to go through, don't go to ads yet. Okay. So what I'm going to say to you is your offer will evolve over time. So many people I find are in such a rush to find their perfect offer or their perfect, product or their perfect marketing or their perfect brand. And here's the thing, I'm going to share it with you shortly, but there's something that all the top internet marketers continue to say that I've just picked up throughout the years. And it's something very, very, to me, is now obvious, but to a lot of people who are perhaps just starting out or who haven't done a lot of the online stuff, who've been offline and they're probably going online now, or who, may just not be as familiar with the online world as perhaps what I am, they make these mistakes all the time. So stay with me here. Basically, what we need to do is find out what your customer wants first. Okay. Now it sounds very basic, but a lot of people skip this step. And then we tweak it. All right. We continue to tweak your offer as you go based on the sort of results that you're getting. Okay. So then we look at all this other stuff. Okay, so I'm going to say to you, stop trying to get millions of likes or subscribers. And you're going to go, what? That's what everyone talks about. That's what's in everybody's head, right? Build your list, get heaps of likes of subscribers. And I'm going to say to you, no, don't do that yet. Unless you have a very defined offer, don't do that yet, okay? Here's the thing. A lady sent me an offer, and I always look at these things because I'm really interested in what they're doing. But it was connect with influencers on Instagram for a fee. And I thought, well, basically I just got to the point where I was like, hang on a minute, because I know this works so well. She hasn't even asked me who my, target client or ideal client is. And I thought to myself, well, how can she actually help me if she doesn't know who that is? She's just going to connect me with people who may not be my target market. And so for me, it was just an eye-opener, because a lot of people, again, they're just throwing services out there without actually asking these questions. So really important, if you are looking to build a sustainable business, that we're talking to the right people. So that's the number one thing we need to do. All right. So basically, before doing all of that, focus on your specialty. So what is it that you can do better than, well, a lot of other people, what is it that you specialize in? All right. And your ideal customer. Okay. So again, you may have heard this before, but how many people are actually doing it? All right. I guess challenge you on that a little bit. If I really looked into what you're up to, have you really defined who these people are? Because this is super important. It's super important for your ads. It's super important for everything that you do, your branding, your message, everything. And I tell you what, just little tweaks in the right direction can make a huge difference to your sales. So this is super important, and you cannot skip this step as much as you think you might be able to. And it's best to develop an offer, and I'll talk about this more in a minute, but that is completely tailored to your client. So you need to make sure your marketing message and branding are based on your specialty, and that your service is working. That your specialty product or service, and that it's actually working. Sorry, I didn't say that correctly. I apologize. And we need to make sure that people understand what you do and how you do it, and are genuinely interested in it. Okay, so very key. So your actual product or service will really come from doing this first. After 10 years of being in business, I threw a whole bunch of products and services out initially that just didn't really land as well as I thought they would. And it was because I missed this step. I really hadn't defined who my ideal customer was. And I'm not saying you have to get down to full-blown demographics and things like that. I mean, if you're If you've got a CRM that can segment, then you may want to look at that sort of thing. It can be very handy if you're running events and so on. But I guess what I'm saying to you is know who your customer is. Is it a woman? Is it a man? Is it both? Is it children? Is it parents? Then we go down that line, right? So what do they do? Where do they, you can say obviously things like where do they live and all of this. The clearer you are, the more impact you're going to have with your ads and all of the marketing that you're going to be doing down the track. So here's something I would also say to you, and this is something a lot of people aren't doing anymore because we're sitting behind computers. Speak to them, get to know them, ask them what they want, ask them what keeps them up at night. What is it that worries them? What is it that makes them doubt themselves? What is it that, they need help with? Show them that you genuinely care and want to help them with a problem. Like you would a friend. I look at some of you guys, I've known you for many years. I see you as friends. Essentially, I want to help you because you're my friend, as opposed to just a client. And stay in touch like a friend would. So if you start looking at your clients as friends and people that you want to interact with on a regular basis, as you would any old friend, and you treat them that way, you're going to get a huge difference in your marketing, a huge difference in your results. Okay. Nurture and delight them. Think about if I was in your shoes, and this is in any relationship that you may have with any person, if I was in their shoes, what would I want me to do? Right? So if I was offering them something, if I was going to say, okay, let's, I know my husband, he likes certain types of food. So I'm not going to take him to a different restaurant. I'm going to make sure that he goes to the ones that he likes, right? So it might be, Thai, for instance. He likes Thai food. Okay, so I'm not going to say, let's go off to, eat Japanese, for instance, even though I really like Japanese. Okay, so it's put yourself, and I know this seems really basic, guys, but it's these basic things that people are missing. So put yourself in your customer's shoes, literally transplant yourself there and think, what would I want if I was them? Okay. Is it old school? 100%. Does it still work? 100%. And not many people are doing this very well. Okay. So if we do all this correctly, before you ever run an ad, you'll know what the message should be, who you're targeting, exactly what your offer is, and your landing page and resulting lead magnet or offer or whatever it is will be written to accommodate your customer perfectly. Okay. This is what we do with our clients. Remember, this is key here. Digital marketing enhances a relationship. It doesn't replace one. All right. So still make sure that you are talking to your clients on a regular basis and you're, having some deep, in-depth conversation with them as much as you can. So you've got some questioning techniques that you run through with your clients before you actually try and offer a solution, perhaps. Okay. Or when you're consulting or you're coaching or whatever it is that you may be doing, make sure you've got a questionnaire that you run through with them up front. Okay. And there's some really good ones around. We've actually got one that, we use as a template here as well. Certainly from a sales perspective, we've got a questionnaire that we run through on the back of an event. What are the questions that really get the answers we're looking for and really get us to know the client and make sure that they feel like we have their best interests at heart, because again, that's what gets you the sale. Okay. And I know this goes quite contrary to a lot of people's beliefs. I've been doing this for many, many years, and I can tell you that building relationships is what sales is all about. Just like building a relationship with any other human being that you would in your personal life. So you know what your target market is, you know the offer that they want. Then you go about building your list. Then you go about doing your ads. Then you go about building your funnels. Then you go about doing all of those other things. And you're not going to waste your time and money and efforts up front. Okay. And of course, yes, we do, when we get to this point, want to build a list, because then if you need to raise some cash or you need to suddenly, I don't know, something happens in your personal life and you suddenly need some money, like a pandemic, for instance, all you need to do is send out an email to your list and you've got something to offer them that you know that they're going to like and potentially take up, or you can build something pretty quickly. Okay. So what you got to remember when you are writing these things out, and this is what well, this is how you put together great copy. Okay, so have this in your head always. And I will say to you exactly what's in that blue box there. Money is given to those who solve problems and add value in ways that people are prepared to pay for. Okay, so it'll either be an increase in satisfaction for someone, a decrease in pain for others, reassuring some people who may have a fairly good idea, but they just need someone to back them. Okay, or perhaps guiding them. You know, certainly coaching is very much about guiding people in the right way. That's very much parenting as well. And it can be for your clients also. It's just giving them the peace of mind that they're doing the right things. Or it could be a feeling of belonging. You know, you may come into this group because you feel like you belong here. This is a nice group. You like it. It's part, you know, it works for you for some reason. You know, Nick's obviously won your trust. As he did mine many years ago. He's a great guy. And, you know, he really puts out some great value. And so you come along here because you think Nick's a good guy. You think all the other participants are fantastic people, and you get some really good value here, right? So you have a sense of belonging to this group. And I can tell you some very successful speakers and people that I've known in the past do that extremely well. And people follow them all over the globe, you know, because of that. And you would, I'm sure many would come to mind for you as well. And maybe you've been part of a group like that, and it feels really great to be part of something. There are certainly some excellent marketers who do that very well, and they make their group a little different from everyone else's group in some way, shape, or form. It may be, you know, we're the rebels, you know, we like to do things differently over here, or we're the expert marketers over here, or we're the you know, expert salespeople, or whatever it might be. It's like you belong in this group. You know, you're one of us. So if you do this really, really well, again, your copy will land and your sales will happen. Okay, I hope that helps some people with ideas about, you know, offers and things that they could put together utilizing these sorts of motivations. Okay, now this always comes up, and I thought I'd throw it in here because I tell you what, no matter how seasoned you are as a sales professional or you know, an expert marketer, I've got a marketing degree, you know, I know what I'm doing. Every now and again, I just get that nagging doubt up here. And so if I get it, I know that other people do too. Okay, so I'm just going to address that here. I think it's when you're sort of pushing outside your comfort zone a little bit, that will certainly come up. I think somebody mentioned it in here, you know, hitting that glass ceiling. I'm sorry, I can't remember your name, but yeah, you know, it was a really topical point, because that's what stops people more than, you know, money or time. Even a lot of the time, it's just their nagging self-doubts. Okay, so I'm just going to say to you that it's completely normal. So you're certainly not the odd one out in any way, shape, or form. It's good to have the jitters. It means you care. Okay, we'll call them the jitters. It sounds a lot less intimidating, right? Than fear, doubt, worry, all that sort of thing. So we'll just call them the jitters. They're just the jitters, right? They come up and we just go, okay, how do we deal with these guys? Okay, so it's basically, you know, when you're going to do something important to you, something that means something to you, putting your brand out there. For some reason, it's so much easier to put someone else's brand out there than it is to put your brand out there. Have you guys noticed that? It's so much easier to do sales for somebody else or marketing for somebody else than it is to do your own a lot of the time. So, you know, have you been in a situation where the prospect of pitching to an audience or investors or partners makes you, you know, literally sweat? And that obviously comes from the jitters, right? So the way I deal with this, okay, it may not be the way everybody else does, but it's certainly through knowledge and practice. So the more you know about a potential topic or about something that you're going to be speaking about, or obviously your subject matter, you know, you become a subject matter expert on something, then that helps so much, because if something's thrown at you, you are better prepared. And practice. Look, guys, if you haven't done a lot of public speaking, that sort of thing, you know, you guys look like seasoned professionals, by the way. I know a lot of you do a lot of public speaking and that sort of thing. So this may not apply to you as much, but just get out there and give it a go. Start practicing. And you never know what's going to come out of these things. You know, sometimes we just don't realize where it's going to lead. And it's a little bit exciting in a way. Someone called it, as a friend of mine, actually, she said she calls it scare-sighted. And she's been around a long time. So it's like scared but excited at the same time. So really, really important to realize that, again, that's a really good emotion to capture and use to your advantage. Okay. But make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure you know your topic, make sure you practiced it. And obviously research is one way also of doing that. And make sure that you then take the necessary precautions you need to take. You know, like if you're going to do something a little bit risky, make sure that you've, I guess, address those fears a little bit. Like maybe they have a purpose. What are they telling me? Do I need to do something here to make sure that this doesn't go wrong? You know, even just things like, you know, my screen share wasn't working before. It's like, oh no. And I think I freaked Nick out a little bit because I'm like, I can't get this thing to work. And I'm like a tech, you know, person, but I'm on a new laptop and it's like, oh, hang on a minute, it's not working. What's going on? So, you know, it was one of those things. It's just a tech issue, but those sort of things can really throw you. And, you know, that happened to the best of us. So just be prepared for those sorts of things and just obviously do your best to work through them before you jump on. Okay, so arming yourself with knowledge. I've just put it in a little diagram here. Arming yourself with knowledge can really help with your next meeting or phone call, or having your list of questions you're going to ask somebody. Or even a little script that you've written out. Do your homework before making contact. Know the product you're selling inside out. Research the company that your lead works for. Try and find out as much about them as you can so you can appeal to them on a personal level. And also, you know, think about what their issues are. Think about those things that I mentioned before. What keeps them up at night? What is it that they're worried about? What are their fears and doubts? How can we address those? Okay. Or how can we just help them in general? That's always what we come in with, right? Is how can we help these people lead better lives or solve that problem or do that thing? Problems are a necessary part of life, and it's fun to solve them, and it's fun to help other people solve them. So if you're looking at it from that perspective, I want to help this guy solve his problem and I want to see him overcome it and get to that next place. That's kind of a cool perspective to have in your head when you're making a sale. And also, and it's because you genuinely care. I think that's the thing a lot of people miss. It's not just about selling. It's like, I actually care for this person. If I was in their shoes, I'd want to see them get through it, or I'd want to see them, you know, do this deal, or I don't know, get fit, or whatever it is that they're trying to do. Okay. And passion, you hear a lot of people talk about it, but I really feel like it becomes a driving force because there are so many ups and downs, ins and outs of business. You know, we're all on this magical roller coaster ride. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know when a pandemic's going to come in and, you know, take your business away, as it did with some of my event, you know, that I was running. I was running a lot of events. So all of a sudden that just all dried up. And I was like, whoa, okay, there goes my entire calendar year that I had mapped out this year. So I'm just saying it happens to everybody, no matter how long you've been in business, you know, it can happen. Luckily, I had some other things to turn to. And I went out and grabbed some new clients. So I was able to do that. And that was great because I know the digital side as well. So I'm just saying, you know, be passionate though, because I tell you what, that's what's going to get you through. So if you choose something that is the right topic for you, I really feel that this is very necessary to have that love of what you do to get you through those times. Okay. And the love for people in general that you're helping. I know people think, you know, sales and love, do they actually go in the same sentence? But I actually believe that they do. Okay. And again, I don't know. It's just, I feel that, you know, love for a fellow human, trying to get them through something, it just takes away that whole, oh my God, I'm selling something, you know, because it's just, hang on a minute, I actually genuinely care for this person. So call it caring, deep caring, love, call it having their best interest at heart, whatever you want to do. But ultimately it comes down to, I want to see this person do better in their lives, and I believe that I can help them. Okay. So the more you know, the less you'll have to be afraid of when you're put on the spot. Now I spent a bit of time on that, so I better keep going. So I just want to, okay, this is something you guys have really got to get here, because this is how you guys will really do well from here on in. There are so many people who have so many offers in the marketplace, and so many have just flooded in, right? In terms of online businesses, as we all know. It used to be so much easier to get people's attention online 10 years ago, but now it's just nowhere near as easy, right? So it's a little bit more crowded. But the way you combat that is by becoming a specialist in what it is that you do. So you need to be very clear on what it is that you do. So the way somebody put this to me, and it was a brilliant analogy and I loved it. If you had a heart issue, you wouldn't be going to a GP, would you? You would be going to a heart specialist. And you would want to know that they've done this operation many, many times before, before you would trust your heart with them. Okay. And it's kind of like that in business too. So make sure you become a specialist. Inch wide, mile deep is the niche that we're looking for. And again, just know that it will adapt as you work with your clients. You'll find out more about them, what it is they need. Your offers will become more succinct and clear. And that's where, I guess, the dollars come in. That's where the big changes start. Okay, so just quickly, 4 popular service business models. Consulting, obviously. So that's where you have my cat's running around in the background there. So for those of you who heard her, she's my little champ, my little my little, what's the word, mascot. Anyway, she spends a lot of time with me when I'm working, walks on my keyboard and all the rest of it. Consulting, so partnership with a client is what that's all about. So you're invested in their success. So it's everything I've sort of been talking about already. Training, you can obviously train people, teach courses online or offline, and you can do that for a flat fee or a subscription-based model or like a try before you buy kind of scenario, you know, give them 30 days to try it out before they actually have to purchase. Then there's agency, so done for you kind of models. A lot of people are doing that with social media and things like that at the moment. And then there's software. So a lot of people sell software. And again, that try before you buy is a great way to sell software products. And then there's, of course, product sales. So there's many more like franchises. Someone mentioned franchises before. Franchises are another business model. There's many, many more and direct sales and so on. But I suppose, you know, I'm talking to probably the top 4 today more so. This is not so much an e-commerce presentation, although, you know, you're going to get a bit out of it if you are in e-commerce anyway. And I suggest that you probably have a bit of each in there if you can. Perhaps not the software one. You could be an affiliate for another software provider perhaps, or, you know, and you're talking about affiliate links before, that's very topical. You know, you can actually make a bit of money by becoming an affiliate. A lot of people do that very successfully. And certainly it's a great way to break into sales. If you want to just become an affiliate for someone who's got another product that you believe in, that's another brilliant way to make money online. So if you're just starting out online and you just want to learn how to sell, affiliate marketing is a great way to do that. Okay. So I suggest you probably start there if you wish. And then build from there, you know, build your own products and services if you wish. So it just helps get to know how to market and do all of those things. But again, you've got to have something you're passionate about if you're going to go down that road. Okay, so how now do you go about marketing or selling these products? This is the $1 million question. By the way, I had a link into my video over here. I'll talk about that more later. All right, I don't have time to do that right now. So the most cost-effective client audience and client building methods I've come across are when it's one-to-many. And what do I mean by that? Okay, so basically we are looking for situations like this, like we're in right now, where I am talking to a whole bunch of people. I'm not just talking to one person. Direct sales is very effective, but obviously you're going to run out of time. Okay, so where you have an opportunity to present to more than one, you should definitely take up that opportunity. Okay, and some of these ways are some of the best ways to do it. All right, so JVs or partnerships. So again, it's you to warm traffic. The beauty of, and when I say JVs, I should actually expand on that. See, this is the problem with me being in the industry for so long and having done this for so long. I use a lot of acronyms, but joint ventures is what I'm talking about. And so I'm saying if I, for instance, wanted to go into a joint venture with David's doing videos and I am doing copy. Okay, so David and I hook up, we do a joint venture, we do a cross promotion. So I advertise my copy to his list. He sends out an email perhaps for me to his list, and I send out an email to my list for him, advertising his products. Okay, now you can get very convoluted about it. A lot of people want, you know, multiple emails sent out and so on. But, you know, just as a first off situation, why don't David and I send an email out for each other and see how it lands with our lists, see if they take it up, see if they're interested, see if they want to hear more, ask them, you know. Now, here's the thing. David knows his list better than I do. So I might provide David some copy and he might want to tweak it a little bit. for his list because he knows how they like to be spoken to. Now, David also might know that, the offer is a little bit high in terms of price, and he might say, what if we do this? So it's a great idea to get an idea from your partner or JV partner that you're going to be talking to, or doing this partnership arrangement with. And I'll talk more about this shortly, where you can get more information about how to do this. But essentially, this is just a basic scenario. We have complementary services, which is awesome because that means that we can do something together. And when I'm promoting to David's list, I'm promoting to a warm list. He's warmed them up. He has a relationship with them. So they're going to be, I should say, trusting his recommendation of me better than perhaps, going to a cold list or going out to an ad on Facebook, where it's literally cold traffic. Okay. Which leads me to my next point. Advertising. All right. So you've got the option there to do Facebook and Google advertising. But again, it's one-to-many cold traffic. Okay. So I would be doing this once you know your offer works. So again, you don't want to throw money at this. I've done that and I'm like, oh no, I just blew $500. Whoops. Didn't work. Okay. So just something to keep in mind. Try the JV or partnership option first, perhaps. And I would also say, look at funnels. Funnels is, again, nurturing your clients. So again, it's one-to-many. Many people can come through. It's all about automation and making sure that you've got all the steps. I'll talk about this again shortly. So I'm not going to go into funnels too deeply here. I think we've all heard that term. Automation, email marketing, stay in regular contact with your clients. Now, I say this and I could be better at it. I'll be honest. The thing is that regular email really does make a huge difference out to your clients, but you've got to have something to offer them at the same time, because if you don't, there's probably no point. You can warm up an audience beautifully, and you can sell affiliate products to them if you wish. So that's another option if you have nothing to sell for yourself, but you really do need some kind of offer. So again, you can go out and start emailing people, but what's the point if you've got nothing to offer them? So again, the steps that we talked about before, having that offer ready to go is really important. Webinars, sensational way of educating people, very similar to what we're doing here. And, certainly a great way to build a relationship, get in front of people, pitch if you wish. You can pitch at the end of a webinar. And again, it's warm traffic generally for people coming through your list, or they built some kind of relationship with you already before they jump into a webinar with you. Or it is actually a great way to build a relationship with a cold list too. So if you're going to do some advertising, you could drive that directly to a webinar. It's a good idea. So in-person meetings or events. Now, I haven't found, honestly, I would have to say, I haven't found anything more effective, and that's not necessarily true. What I would say to you is that they're extremely effective. I would say JVs and partnerships and events are probably two of my favorite strategies for, meeting new people, getting to know people, and just building a relationship, which is what that sales side of things is all about. Okay, so every time you hear the word sales from now on, you're going to go, I need to build a relationship. I just need to build a relationship. That's what it is. We're selling ourselves consistently all the time, obviously, to many people, including our families and friends. So it's just building a relationship, guys. That takes all the fear and doubt out of it. You know how to do that. So referrals. Okay, so basically referrals are great. Again, for things like joint ventures, you can use referrals. That is a referral system, essentially. But it's just making sure that, you're helping other people who have complementary products or services, and they might be able to do the same for you. I've noticed even just, things like, companies that are doing home sales, for instance. So your classic sort of, Philip Webb's and that sort of thing, they team up with moving companies and power companies, and they offer these little extras on the side. And, it makes sense, right? So that's what I'm saying to you. It's a great option to look at those things and help other people out as well. Social media and blogging, we're all very familiar with that. I won't go into it too much here. I think that's one strategy that's, everyone knows how to do, but they know how to do it well is the next thing. But just getting in front of people and staying top of mind, I've got a little reminder on my, if this helps anybody, on my computer, it pops up, twice a week, right? Make sure you get your social media done on this site and this site on a Tuesday and a Thursday or whenever it is. And it just helps me go, oh, that's right. I just need to pop out a quick social media post, and it doesn't take long at all. And because I've been in it so long, I can usually pull something together. Now, I'd like to say that I was more organized and I had a full social media strategy, and I've got templates for them all and things like that. And you can build those and they're sensational. And certainly you would do it if you're about to launch something or do some kind of campaign. But honestly, it doesn't take long if you just want to, type out a little social media caption or just something to inspire you and some other people. I find it actually inspires me too. I'm writing something out and I go, oh, that's right. This is really good, and I get in the zone a little bit. It's kind of like you're doing your journaling in the morning and instead you're writing to somebody else and you're going, what do I want them to know right now? Or what is it that I found out recently that was really cool? Like Nick's sharing his tech tools, sensational. So he's figured that out. So he now shares that with his group and they love him for it. Okay. So things like that. Now there's pros and cons of each strategy. I did tell you I had a bit of a little frog going on. So give me 30 seconds. We'll discuss each of them in a little bit more detail, but basically remember this: old-fashioned offline sales worked. Okay. So it happened between someone who had a good product and service offering and someone who needed that solution. So let's not forget that. Finding that person is who we need to focus on. Then they built the relationship and showed them that they were the best choice to spend their money with. Again, this is basic stuff, but people forget how easy this was back in the old days. We just need to have that same, mindset when we're writing our copy, because there's so much to get caught up in with the tech world and social media and all of that. But it's like, bring it back to this. Find the person that we need to focus on, build the relationship. Somehow, just talk to them. And when I say somehow, I'm just saying, treat them like a friend, build the relationship, treat them like a friend, and also show them why you're a good choice to spend their money with. Okay. That you're trustworthy, that you're credible, all of those things. So make sure that's in all your copy. And again, it's easy to get focused on the things that aren't making you money. So make sales one of your priorities. Okay. Just again, something like a reminder or, I know there's a great mentor that actually says, choose 5 things that you're going to focus on in the next 60 to 90 days. And he says, make one of them sales. All right. So it could be little projects. So let's go through these. But I guess the point of that last slide was pick 1 or 2. Don't expect yourself to be a master of all of them. You're better off being really good at 1 or 2 of them than okay at all of them. All right. So pick 1 or 2 that you think are going to really work for you. Master those, outsource the rest. That's my advice. Okay. One-to-many warm traffic. Okay. So educate and pitch to one-to-many warm traffic. This is the, again, in-person meeting or events. I've sort of gone through this to an extent, so I'm not going to go into great detail, but it could just be for a couple of hours. It could be just an hour like we are tonight, or a couple of hours. I forget. How long have I actually got, Nick? Am I doing all right in terms of time? Because I must admit, I don't have my clock. Hang on. I better turn my phone over. There we go. 7:15. So doing okay, I think. If I'm going too slow, let me know. All right. So you could do a half day. Now that's a great way of building a relationship, especially if you can get in front of them in person, it's fantastic. But obviously the online world still works. There's nothing like being in person with somebody. So a full day or perhaps even a 3 to 5 day event in person can be extremely effective because you're building such a relationship in that amount of time. They're almost, your best friend by the end of 3 days or 5 days. But it's about getting that message right. And obviously this strategy does require a lot of time and energy and money to get people show up. We used to call it getting bums on seats. It's not as easy as you might think. Okay. And there's a lot to it, but again, a very effective strategy if you can work out how to do that. So the difference between cold and warm traffic, I'm not going to go into this right now, but it's a very important understanding because a lot of people don't, I think, realize there's such a difference in the results that you'll get from cold and warm traffic until I keep bringing it up with them. It's like, right, how can we get some warm traffic here? Let's put ourselves in front of the flow of warm traffic because it's already there. So guys, if you want to jump onto my website, there's actually a video in my free offer. So I didn't tell Nick this, but yeah, basically you can sign up to the free offer on my website. So write that down if you wish and go in there. There's a video on it, and it's very handy to just run through the benefits of you know, a warm traffic. And not only that, you know, I guess the ways that you can find it. So JVs and partnerships, we talked about it. Obviously, webinars I've spoken about as well. I just think it's extremely effective. Now there's a masterclass as well on my website if you want to take a look, because I use webinars basically. Okay, so advertising, I've mentioned that as well. Expensive if you get it wrong, okay? And I wouldn't rely on that as your only way to drive traffic. It can be very effective, but I certainly wouldn't rely on it because, again, you're relying on Mark Zuckerberg not to change everything, okay? So you don't want to put all your eggs in that basket. But if you're going to go down that path, make sure you've got a Facebook pixel on your websites and you create a lookalike strategy. So people who are going to your website, well, that allows you to basically. So just, does everyone know just put up your hand if you know what a Facebook pixel is? I'm just trying to get the idea of the level of people I'm talking to. Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay. So basically, it's just something you can set up. It's a little bit techie. I'm sure Nick can help you with this. Nick, you can help him with this, can't you? Yep, beautiful. Right, so go to Nick, talk to Nick. Very important you have your Facebook pixel because you want to be capturing the people that are already coming to your site. And then you can grab that lookalike audience, or you can create a lookalike audience and you can do some really cool things with that audience, okay? Or you can create ads for a lookalike audience, you know, from the, I guess, the people you know. It's just much easier than creating, wouldn't you agree, Nick? It's much easier to create a lookalike audience than actually start from scratch on Facebook and try and pick the demographics and everything else out that you need to. 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
100%. Yep. And should do that. One thing I would say too is that with the Facebook changes, you if you do have that Facebook pixel on your website, you need to go and update it with all of the new information. There's a new, and you've got to verify your website. So absolutely important to do that. Otherwise, you're going to lose a whole lot of data. That's just with the new iOS update.
Oh, I got to write myself a note, update my Facebook pixel. Oh my goodness. Thank you. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad I brought it up. All right. That's super important, guys. And see, how awesome is Nick? Because I didn't know that. So how great is that he can tell you these things, and how great are these meetups so that you can find this out? Because that is super important. All right. So a lot of people rely on this strategy, you know, and if they didn't hear that or they weren't aware that that was happening, oh my gosh, you know, their whole ad strategy is going to go down the toilet. And that's how they drive lead to their business and effectively, you know, feed their kids. Look, there's a lot of other things that I could go into there, like remarketing and that sort of thing, but I won't. This is the wrong forum. There's a lot of advanced strategies you can use that, again, I'm sure Nick could run you through if you wanted more info. So automation, great way to start building a relationship. Definitely recommend it if you've already got your product and service worked out and you've got your branding and you're pretty sure that this thing will sell, or this product or service or whatever it is, or you're already making sales offline and, you know, it's ready to take it, or you're ready to take it online now. You know, that's when you go into the email marketing campaign side of things. And that's when you start sending out those emails. Okay. All right. Funnels. Okay. Funnels. I must admit, again, like I said before, I tend to assume that people know when I'm talking about funnels, what funnels actually are. But then I'm like, well, hang on a minute. What if they don't know? It's definitely the buzzword. And I'm hearing you all go, right, I would like to understand this better. Yeah. Because I must say that there's so much to it. Would anyone like me to run through what a funnel really is? Yeah. And how to put one together? It just makes sense. It'll just suddenly click in your head. Okay. Fantastic, guys. All right. The point of a funnel is handling people's objections up front, and it's building the relationship via digital means. Okay. So It's before they meet you face to face. So effectively, you might want to market those other things like events and that sort of thing down the track. But this is like upfront. We're going to meet them somehow. All right. And I can honestly say that there are a stack of great software providers. I've listed a couple. Obviously, you probably heard of ClickFunnels, Kartra, Keep, Ontraport. I've looked in and been involved with a lot of them. And I can honestly say there's some really amazing stuff coming out of these particular companies and a lot of others. Okay, I just threw a couple on there. I've got a blog on this if you want to go have a look. I list a whole bunch of them there, pros and cons and that sort of thing. So feel free to go take a look if you wish. Removing customer doubts. That's effectively what we're doing, right? So after you tell someone your price or ask for the sale, you might get that yes, but, you know, and that the trick is to handle those objections up front. Okay. So usually it's time, money, or is it going to work for me? I'm not sure it's for me. Okay. So we need to come up with answers to these common objections and also, and this is done by asking your clients and talking to them. It's really the only way that you're going to know, and trying to put yourself in their shoes. You know, what would I want if I was in this situation, and how could I address those issues? And obviously, you know, write down as many as you can and start thinking that through. That's one brilliant way, and certainly one of the best ways of starting to write your own copy. So really start to think, okay, what would my objections be to this? So that we can handle those upfront. So while you're educating them on your products and services, which is another purpose of a funnel, you can handle their objections, speak to their pain points. Remember those 3 things that I said: reassure them, speak to their pain points, and what were the other ones? I can't remember, but go back to that slide if you wish. They're all on there. You know, build a little group, make sure people belong. It's all those sorts of things that I was talking about before. I think you guys will remember. And we can do that inside of your emails, your EDMs, and your funnels. And once you've built out a funnel, it's done. That's the beauty of automation, right? It is done. Isn't that just the best, Nick? When you know your funnel's built out, it is such a good feeling, because you go to something like this and you go, hey guys, if you want to opt in, go for it. And you know, you're adding really good value. You know, you've got some good stuff in there. It's all built out and they can just hop in whenever they want. It's such a nice feeling. Okay. So here's the thing. Entrepreneurs. Yes, we're entrepreneurs. We have so much to do. We have our bookkeeping, we have our accounting, we have to, you know, think about sales, we have to think about marketing, we have to think about all this online tech, we have to think about so much. But here's the thing, sales must be a priority. I mentioned that before, but I just want to basically say to you that entrepreneurship and sales go hand in hand. If you're not making sales, you don't have a business yet. Okay, that doesn't mean you're not going to have one. It just means that you don't have one really right now. So let's get that sorted. Okay. So if you've got a sales team, you still need to be talking to them consistently about what they're doing and, you know, what calls are they making? What are their sales cycles? What are they up to? You know, what kind of conversations are they having? What's the feedback that they're getting from the clients? All those sorts of things. All right. So I'm just saying that sales is a lot more than just getting people to buy products, but I think I've harped on that enough. I think you guys have got it. Now, I did a presentation and I've written here 11th secret of my last presentation. So if you want to have a look at that other presentation, Nick, is there a way that they can get access to that other presentation? I'm just curious. Can you drop a link or something for them at some point? Or maybe send out an email or something?
That was the last one you did. It'll be up on YouTube. So if you go to the YouTube channel, smash go, and it'll be there.
Yeah. So I talked a lot about the mindset of an entrepreneur in there. And this was one of the things I spoke about. So if you're interested in that, feel free to jump on there and have a look at that presentation. So again, how are you going to drive sales to your business? And it's a variety of methods. So all the things that I spoke about before. So here we go. We're going to build a funnel to capture them all using systemization. All right. So people aren't always ready to buy your product and service when they come into your funnel. Perhaps they don't even know who you are. Okay. So what's another way besides running an event like this, or, you know, doing a webinar, or getting them in front of them in person, which has been a lot more difficult lately, obviously due to, you know, COVID. I can say that sales funnels are more important than probably ever before, because it's another way to build that relationship with them. And it gives you the chance to turn that cold lead into a warm lead and possibly a sale if we do this correctly. So it's a way to cover your costs up front. Okay. And I can talk about ways to do that. I won't go into detail about that now, but there are ways to cover your costs up front in a funnel. So you're covering the whole process and stay profitable. So you're covering everything that comes through from the minute that they join your funnel. Okay. And again, it's very important for companies that are self-funded to be able to do that or work out a way to cover your costs up front. All right. So how do they work? How do they make your money? Okay, we want to grab their attention, basically build a desire, encourage them, add calls to action, and invite them to buy. So they're all the steps. Get it wrong, and you waste lots of money. Same with ads, right? Get this wrong, you'll waste lots of money and time and just so much frustration involved because it takes a while to build this out. So you want to get it right. And if you do, you'll see significant growth and revenue and profit. Okay, so there's different stages of a funnel. There's a top of the funnel, right? So TOTF, how are people going to buy from you? Okay, so basically how they're going to find you, and then there's the middle section. So middle of the funnel, MOTF is how people find out what you do or what you're selling. And then there's a bottom of the funnel. And this is where it's like, okay, the question you should be asking yourself when you're building this out is why should people buy from you? So when you're building at the top, think, how will people find me? When you're building at the middle, it's how can I educate them on what it is that I do or what I'm selling? And if you're looking at the bottom of the funnel, why should people buy from you? All right. These are the questions you ask yourself. Hang on a second. There we go. So in a few specific industries, you can get away with making a sales letter and still make money, but these days it's a lot harder. So some of the best sales letters, and this is what we used to do 10 years ago, right, Nick? Just build out a sales letter and drive traffic to it. And essentially, you'll get sales. It worked. There wasn't as much competition back then. And even the best ones, though, now only convert at about 2% to cold traffic. Okay. So that's just letting you know that you need more. And that's why you need this funnel that I'm talking about. And you need these interactions with people, and you need to be able to build these relationships in other ways. Okay. And we've got so many ways of doing that now online, which is sensational. So you don't just have to obviously get in front of them. So it makes our lives a lot easier. Back then we were missing a lot of that stuff, and it just certainly wasn't as easy to do these sorts of presentations back then as well. So there's pros and cons of back then and now. So if you're jumping in now, you've got so many amazing pieces of software that you can go to and utilize. Geez, it was clunky back then to find the right one and make it work the way that it should work. It cost thousands of dollars. So thankfully that's not the case anymore. You can get it very cheap. So just go in and have a look. As I said, I've got a blog on it. You can have a look at the different kinds of software if you wish, and you just have to choose one at some point. You can, I guess, test the waters a little bit, sign up for the free offers, but at some point you just have to make a commitment and choose one. And you want to make sure you get that decision down pat, because you don't want to have to move it all over from one piece of software to another. That's painful. Okay. So try and choose well up front. Think about the dollars and think about all of those things long term. Am I going to be able to handle paying $297 a month, or am I going to be able to handle paying $97 a month? Is that enough for me? Or is it a case of I don't even want to pay that. I only want to pay, I don't know, whatever it is. Remember, a lot of these are in US dollars too. So you have to be aware of what you're doing. So again, just play around with it. If you're ready for it, you've got your product, you've got your service, and you're just ready to build out this funnel, then you just got to jump in with a piece of software. Again, ask Nick. Nick's really good with this sort of thing. He can recommend something for you. He's done a lot of work in this space, as have I. So essentially, we're warming up our audience, okay? And they'll convert far better. So there are different kinds of funnels. There's book funnels, there's product upsell funnels. So upselling is one of the brilliant things that you can do with a funnel. I love this idea because it's, the whole Maccas and fries thing. It will just add extra dollars to your revenue, and it's sensational. So a core sales funnel, and basically, you need to pick the one that's going to make the best difference for you and what it is that you're offering. So you have to think about the kind of product or service you're selling, what industry you're in, what do you want your lead magnets to be, and have as many as you want in the funnel if you wish. You can be more than one. A lot of people are saying, have 10 to 15 different kinds of lead magnets, because essentially you can go out with different offers all the time on ads and so on, or you could just build that relationship throughout the funnel if you wish. So test them via that funnel if you like. So that's one of the things that I'm going to be talking about later as well, is how to do that. So what message, think about the message that you're trying to get across. Very important to get, some good copy happening. Copy is really important. The more I realized, or I guess the longer I've been involved in this sort of work, I've realized how important it is to get your copy right, because that will, I guess, just get people over the line to want to interact with you more. So very, very important to make sure that you get someone to look over your copy or gets it written for you. I think that's one of the things that if you're not confident with your copy, it's a good idea to invest in a copywriter. Okay, so what medium are you using as well? Are you going to use videos? A lot more open rates on videos. There you go, my friend. There's one of the I guess, tips. I would use videos. Videos are sensational, along with webinars. Audio like podcasts, written emails, blogs, books, that sort of thing. Okay, so you can go down the road of any of those to educate your clients. All right, so examples, I'll just go through this in a little bit of detail. So you've got your top of your funnel, right? So at the very, very top, you've got, how can people find you? So this is the thing that we're thinking right at the top of this funnel. So it could be through ads, social media posts, SEO, okay, press releases, cold calls, or in-person sales meetings, guest posts. So you post on somebody else's blog or, on, I don't know, Entrepreneur Magazine. You go in and do a guest post there, or some other kind of magazine, depending on what it is that you're selling. And anywhere that they've got traffic already or people looking already, if you can do a guest post in there, it's a good idea. Finding ways to drive new traffic, and it can be cold at this point, it's okay, to your business. Better if it's warm, but it can be cold. That's not a problem. So it's wider at the top. So you're going to get more people coming in up here, and they're going to sort of filter themselves out. Okay. And that's what we want them to do. All right. So it's fine to drive in, maybe not your absolute perfect ideal client, although that's who we're writing to. So by the time they get further down, we will have those guys. Okay. They will be sticking around. The other ones may pull out, and that's okay. That's fine. That's good, because we don't want to work with the wrong people. We don't want to work with time wasters. We don't want to spend our time marketing to people who are never going to buy. But if people want to hang around, that's fine. But ultimately, we're trying to weed out the ones that actually really do benefit from our product or service. Okay. Making sense so far, guys? Yeah. Hope so. All right. So we're in the middle of the funnel now. So we're sort of down in this section where it's sort of, almost meets the bottom. It's getting narrower. So what do we want to do in there? So this is the get to know you stage. How do we educate our clients? So it can be educational videos on your site. It can be books or ebooks, YouTube videos. So you're directing them to these things, right? You're sending out little emails to them consistently every couple of days. Go and check out my YouTube video over here. Go and check out my guide. I'm going to give you this free guide. I've got this awesome checklist over here that you can use for your business to save you money in whatever way, shape, or form. Give it to your staff. And if they use this, then you're going to get more efficiency out of them, let's say. Tender submissions. It could be, if you're talking big clients, we're getting to the tender stage, right? They've invited you to tender. So you now have to fill that out and put your best foot forward. So that's what this is about. It's putting your best foot forward in this stage, and making sure that they see why you are a good choice to spend their money with. All right. Depends. Here's the thing I'm going to say as well. It's really not so much about the size of the deal. And I talk about this in my little book that you'll be getting. I say little book, I don't know why I called it a little book, but essentially it looks little on the site. Maybe that's why I said little book, but it's a book. And you'll get that for free when you sign up. And I talk about this quite a lot in my book, where I talk about the value of the deal. Don't get freaked out by the value of the deal. All deals are the same in terms of the steps we're going through to get to the ultimate sale. And that's something that I learned when I worked with large corporate. They just take a bit longer and you've got to jump through more hoops. Okay, but ultimately it's about building that relationship. It's about convincing them that you're, the right fit for them, and that you can meet all their requirements and ease their minds. You'll be there for them if they need you, all of those sorts of things. Okay. Or you're going to address everything that you say you're going to down the track. So it's building that trust and that relationship. And product demonstration videos are a really good one here as well. And again, it's taking the cold traffic, turning them into warmer traffic down here. Okay, so bottom of the funnel marketing tools. So this is where we go to calls to action, final pitches, the sales part of the presentation. So sales pages and videos, direct response mailers, in-person sales visits, tenders or pitch presentations. So this is where you're actually pitching in front of them. Say, yes, we've filled out that tender paperwork, right? Now we're actually going to have a presentation in front of you, and essentially tell you even more reasons why we're the right choice. Consulting calls with a close at the end, perhaps. So this is this end of the funnel. You've got them in or on a consultation. If you wish, that's a great way to get to know them, ask all of those qualifying questions and move them into the buying stage of the cycle. So it's where you're asking them to take action and buy. So it's the bottom of the funnel. It's where we're coming out the bottom, right? I don't have a little funnel on there. I should have put one on there, but essentially we're now about to squirt out the bottom as a sale. All right. There's my funnel. All right. So you still need a great product, great customer service, positive experience, all sort of coming together. You deliver on what you say you're going to deliver. We're building the trust, we build the relationship, and essentially, they will buy from you at this point. But no funnel can overcome a bad product or a bad service experience. Okay, so we've got to get that right. All right, so make sure you got that right first. And I'm sure Russell Brunson, ClickFunnels, he talks about hook, story, and offer. So if you're not getting sales, it usually comes down to not having the right hook. And they're all the things at the top of the funnel that I talked about, the lead magnets. Your story when you're educating as to why you do this, and, building that relationship. Story is a great way to build relationships. So maybe your story is a little bit off. And your offer as well could be off. It might just be the wrong price. It might need a tweak. It might need a new bonus or something along those in there. So these are all the things that you've got to try. Okay, continue to try and tweak. We don't just put an offer out there, and if it doesn't work, we go, oh, well, that was a dismal failure. We tweak it. We work on it. We continue to do that. All right. So what result are you looking for? So this is another one for you, my friend, who was talking about open rates. Please don't focus on your open rates. Please don't focus on how many likes you have on your social posts. Please don't focus on your list size. Please don't focus on how many are listening to your podcast or downloading your free offer. They're not things we should be focusing on. Okay. And again, it's taken me years to figure this out. All right. Anyone shocked at that? I'm sure there would be a few of you. All right. Especially the seasoned professionals in the group. What do we look at instead? We look at how many people are actually spending money with you. Okay, what's working? And we expand on that. Okay, how many people are actually booking consults so you can sell to them one-on-one? Consulting is a great way of, consulting calls are a great way to close sales, especially with coaching. How many people are turning up at your event or your webinar or whatever it is that you're using to build that relationship? We should be focusing on those numbers, okay? Because we want to increase those in quite, a big fashion. And if it's not working with your standard email marketing, maybe it's time to do a joint venture, or maybe it's time to do a summit, build your list. Maybe it's time to do just a different kind of marketing strategy, okay? But it's how many are turning up at your event, how many are booking consults, how many are spending money with you, how many are taking that next step with you, okay? Whatever it might be, buying a book, or whatever it is, what's that next step for you? Okay, that's what we've got to focus in on. And when it starts working, we focus in on it even more. We pour more money into it. We start getting that thing hotter and making it even better. Okay, so that's essentially the distinction that I'd like you guys to get, is that you've got to be careful what you focus in on, because it can really dishearten you if you're looking at open rates and things like that. Everybody's open rates are dropping a little bit at the moment because there's just so many players in the market. But I would also say that we don't want to go down the road with that kind of thought in our heads. We need to be looking at this stuff. And again, it may be that your webinar is not quite converting the way that it should. Do we need to tweak some of the information in it? Someone said to me, and this blew my mind. Okay, the top internet marketers don't tell you this, but one of the guys said he's a very well-known gentleman who has been in the internet marketing for a long time, built this amazing piece of software. And I listened to him speak, and he basically said to he went down the webinar path, and he said to someone high up in the internet world who was doing, massive months off of the back of webinars. And basically he said, how long did it take you to perfect this strategy? It just hasn't been effective for us. And he said, 10 months of tweaking, 10 months of tweaking. Okay. So this is where I'm saying, pick one or two strategies and continue to work on those. Don't try and become generally okay at all of them, because I think you'll find that a lot harder. Pick a couple and become excellent at them, and then outsource the rest to other people who are excellent at the things that they've mastered. Okay. I almost need a timer here because I'm always guilty of going over time. So I hope you guys can stick around. I'm not even looking at the time. I apologize. I'm getting right into this. 7:43. Okay. So how long have I got, Nick? We've only got 15 minutes, haven't we? Is that right?
A couple of minutes. If we can wrap up a couple of minutes, does that give you enough time?
Yeah, that should be fine. All right. I can't even remember how many slides I've got left, but I'll do this as quickly as I can. Okay. So I've got a little bit of an offer for you guys at the end. Something really cool. So hang in there. So once your sales funnel is built out and performing, you don't need to do any more except advertising and doing joint ventures to promote yourself. So once you've got this thing working and you've been through all of that, it's so great, because again, then it's just a case of just going out and, talking to people. And that's why it's worth doing. Okay. But you've got to get it right. So advanced strategy is segmentation. I'm not going to go into that. That's an advanced strategy. We're not here for advanced strategies just at this point, and I've already mentioned it. Okay. So email marketing calls to action. If you're doing copy, one email, one action. Try and make sure that you're very clear, certainly in your social media as well. Make sure you're very clear about what action it is that you want them to take, and only give them one option to take that, one course of action to take. Does that make sense? So yeah, you don't want to try and speak to everybody here. If you do, you'll need multiple calls to action. So that's why I'm talking about list segmentation in detail here, but keep in mind, even if you're not segmenting your list, just one email or one post, one action. Okay. So nurturing your clients, and I talked about nurturing before, is what's going to give you those repeat purchases. People are going to keep coming back. Okay. Think of all the reasons why you go back to that particular cafe, or you go back to that particular hairdresser, or you go back to that particular gym. Or whatever it is, similar sort of service or offering that you offer. Why do you go back to them? Why do they appeal to you so much? What is it about them or their offer that keeps you engaged? Okay. And think about that. It could be a membership of some kind, you get points. I don't know. There's many, many things you can do. So, but here's the thing. Once you secure a client, you got to hold on to them. It's so much easier. This is something we talked about in corporate all the time. So much easier once you build that relationship with that client to hold on to them than it is building a new one. All right. Have to start all over again. Okay. So free giveaway. I've mentioned this a couple of times, but if you want to go into my blog, it's basically, there's a couple of free tools in there for you. And you'll also get a copy of my book, which is Secrets of a Seven-Figure Deal. I'm about to change the cover on that actually, but that's my old one. But essentially, I've got some really good videos and that sort of thing in there if you want to have a look at it. So I just thought I'd throw that in. If you guys want to go grab that, you're more than welcome. Okay. And then something else a little bit special. I just thought, because I've been on here before and I've made that offer before, I thought I'd throw in something a little bit extra here. And this is just, I hope this is okay, Nick. But basically, if you're a little unsure about how to write great copy, you know, how to build out funnels, how to build great EDMs, so, you know, email marketing, how to build a great webinar, that sort of thing, and how to drive, I guess, your prospects towards a sale without seeming pushy or overwhelming, or you just get a bit freaked out, get the jitters about it. It's not something that's your cup of tea. Or perhaps you get writer's block. You're just not even sure what to say. You know, I'm going to offer you a shortcut. It's a sales page template that you can copy, paste, and use as a starting point for the messages you send to prospects. So you can set this up on any landing page. You could do it on WordPress, or you could do it inside of a funnel, perhaps. I'm not sure what software you use. You could use inside of any software. So if you're using Kartra, for instance, or, you know, maybe even Kajabi or something like that, you know, you can basically pop it in there and just create a landing page. But you can do this inside of WordPress too. So if all you have is a website, you can still do this. Okay. You don't need external software, or you can turn it into a video. So it's basically something that took me, I say hours upon hours. It took me over a week really to write. And it's too valuable to give away for free, as much as I would love to, but I'm offering it for $97, which is ridiculously cheap. And what I can say to you is it could be worth a bucket load to you. But here's the thing, I'm going to make you jump through some hoops if you do want it. If you do want it, please jump on our Facebook page, say I want it in the comments. I'll know what you're talking about. And if you don't, you know, if this isn't for you, or, you know, you don't need it for whatever reason, or you've got one already, that's fine. Just jump in there and say hi anyway. I'd love to see you guys and say hello. But basically then email me at this email address, info@WIS for Sam, ANDBIZ for zebra.com. And I'll organize for it to be sent over to you. Okay. So again, this was a bit last minute, so I don't have a link all set up and that sort of thing. It's just, what can I offer these guys that they may, you know, that may help them? And sales video or sales, I guess, template is one of the things that I can help you with. And again, that is so cheap. You would never get a copywriter doing it for that price. So again, it's just because I know Nick, and I think he's a good guy, and I thought it might help you guys out a little bit. More than happy to give it to you for that price. But again, just, you know, get in contact, and then I can organize to shoot it over to you. So I hope that's been helpful, guys. That's it for me. I'll stop sharing now and pass you back over to Nick.
Awesome. Thanks very much. So much information and so much really good stuff. Some good comments coming through too. Someone said that was gold, one of the slides there.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Question, though, is your email address WIS and BIZ or WIZ and BIZ?
No, it's for some reason I signed up to my domain name years ago before I could get the 2 Zs. So I ended up with a WIS, and I've sort of kept that one. So that's a bit more of a personal email address.
Okay.
So I don't know whether I should give you such a personal email address, but hey, as I said, you guys are more like friends. So it's the old one that I sort of keep. So info@WIS, so think wisdom and businessbiz.com. So I've also got an admin at wisdombiz with the 2 Zs. So you could do that one as well, .com.
That's right.
But either way,
you'll just confuse me.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Just delete that last line that I said. Go with the one that I wrote on there. I'm sure Nick can provide it to you, worst case anyway, if you get confused. So
we've got it all in chat now. So all of that information's in chat.
Thanks.
So thanks very much for coming along tonight, Colleen, and sharing all of that information.
A lot there.
As you said, some of it was is old school stuff, but the interesting thing is that what was old is now back new. So you'll find that when I remember doing long sales form letters that we used to post out and post out hundreds of these letters in the mail, and you get a sort of a percentage open rate. Now, if you go and do that now, you get a way higher percentage open rate and a higher conversion rate because, people are just not getting it. So it was what they used to do. It dropped off in favor of digital. And now if you start to send physical letters, it really does work. Only problem is it's really expensive now.
Yeah. Old school still works, guys. And that's what I was trying to say to you. Really think about that, because it's a way of differentiating yourself. And some of the top internet marketers say the same thing. If you send a letter, you're going to get a higher open rate. But there's things like text messages and other things that you can do as well. So there are digital versions of it.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's give Colleen a huge round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I hope you guys got some value. I'd love to hear your comments on my Facebook page if you wish to get in touch, or even via that email address. It'd be great to get some feedback. But it's so nice to be able to bring all my info to you. I felt really comfortable with you lot, and I hope that I've given you some value.
And that Facebook page, I'll pop the Facebook page in the chat. So yeah, definitely go along there and like that and follow that. And that's the best place to ask you questions too, is it, Colleen?
Yeah, or that email address I gave you, but it may take me a little bit longer to get back to you, basically, because I'm so flat out. But yeah, the Facebook page, 100%, we'll be getting back to you pretty quickly on that. Yeah.
Awesome. Excellent. Already done. Excellent. Perfect. All right. Couple of things is for those up in Queensland, the digital grants have just been launched. So that there is, you've got till about the 31st to apply for a digital grant, $10,000, and it was matched funding. So for every dollar you put in, the government will put in $1, and it is for your digital presence. We'll drop the link into chat, and there it is. It's in chat. So if you want to, if you're looking for funding, I would highly encourage you to do it. I know some people have got it and have got some really good value out of it. The thing that you do need is you need to be clear about what you want. You need to meet the criteria, and you need to get a proposal or a quote from the people that are going to provide you with the services. So it can be coaching, it can be digital some material, it could be websites, it could be social media, it could be so anything there, as long as it meets the criteria. The government's looking to employ more people. So if it's going to help you to employ people, that will definitely meet the guidelines. But jump on the site and have a look at it. There are other grants around the country as well, and in New Zealand. I don't have all those links, but this is just one that happens to have been launched now. All right, tomorrow we have office hours at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, Australian or Eastern time. So come and join us tomorrow. That is a no agenda, no speaker, coffee chat. So bring your coffee, bring a cup of tea, and we get some pretty interesting conversations about the online space, and solve the world's problems online there as well too. So the link for that is in chat. So yes, to come and join us. It's on Zoom as well. And the other thing, the replay for this, if you want to watch it again, it will be up on the YouTube channel tomorrow. So it'd be towards the end of tomorrow. So best thing to do is go and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and then you'll get a notification by email when it's all ready. And that link is up on chat as well too. Now is the time for you to save the chat. So if you go to the 3 little dots on the bottom right-hand side to save the chat, click it, save it. You got all the links there to go and explore tomorrow. All right. Well, thanks again to CJ, Colleen, for coming along today. And thanks for everyone for being here. I hope you got some good value out of it. And remember, it's not what you learnt tonight that's important, but it's what you implement. So go and implement one good thing, and let's go make it happen. Have a good night.